Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're taking a look at my 93 Chevy Silverado. This thing, you've never seen it on video before because it never breaks down. It's been the most reliable vehicle I've ever had. As you can see, she's got some age on her, you know, where the clear coat is peeled off, and I'm starting to think about getting it painted up and such. But the other day I went out on a job, just a little quick estimate that I had to do, and I ran out there, and as soon as I pulled out of the customer's driveway to turn around, I noticed the first time I hit the brakes, I had a high hard pedal, meaning no power brakes. And I wanted to share with you guys, if you don't know, or if you're unfamiliar, how do you diagnose a bad power brake booster? And one of the ways you do it is basically you feel it in the pedal. If it feels like suddenly it has manual brakes and you can still stop, but you have to push really, really hard to make it stop, then that's a good indication that your power brake booster has failed you. Another symptom is you might hear a lot of vacuum leak, like a big, sucking sound, almost like the sound of the money leaving the United States. So something like that. I believe that was how Ross Perot put it, or somebody like that, a big giant sucking sound. So if you hear that, more than likely your brake booster, and especially if it's associated with brake problems, then it's more than likely the brake booster. One of the things you can do is you can see down here on the bottom where it's a little wet. It's not dripping wet, but apparently it had been leaking for a little while and I didn't catch it. Brake fluid is extremely, I guess you'd say, caustic. It'll eat through just about everything, including paint and more than likely rubber. And these things have a rubber diaphragm inside of them, and they work off of engine vacuum. That's what gives you the advantage of power brakes. So if you know anything about these 90s model Chevrolets, and actually back into the 70s, their power brakes are extremely touchy. So you'll notice it right away if your power brakes aren't working. On the other hand, if your brake pedal is going to the floor and stuff like that, more than likely that's a fluid related problem or a master cylinder related problem. So I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up on that. If you ever have to diagnose a power brake booster, or you're not sure what's going on, maybe this will help you out. Okay, so first up, we're going to break these brake lines loose. And if you wanted to be extra clean about this, you could go ahead and take a turkey baster or perhaps a fat syringe and suck out this brake fluid, and that would probably reduce the amount of mess you're going to make. I've done this enough that I'm going to try to do it quickly, and I actually think I saved the little cap plugs from the last time I did a master cylinder, so if I can find those, I'll stick those in there, and that'll help me speed it up a little bit, and I won't make as much of a mess. But first thing we're going to do is crack these loose. I tried a line wrench, but unfortunately I only have standard imperial size line wrenches, 9/16. So it's a little loose on there. I don't like the way that feels, and I'd rather not round these things off. So I've changed this out before. It was years ago. Unfortunately for me, I remembered that I bought it from AutoZone, so it's under warranty. And so I need to get this thing off of here and get it down to them. Now a 14 fits on there, but it is super tight. So I don't know what's going on here, but I got a 14 on a moment ago, and that's what I'm going to try. Although I would prefer a line wrench, so if you have metric line wrenches, go that route. And we're just going to give even pressure here. I did lubricate them up with a little PB blaster beforehand. Come on, baby. Oh, it ain't going to be easy. Let's try this one. See if it's any better. Do not want to round these things off. And that 14 just barely wants to fit it. There we go. This happened last time when I was doing the C30 as well. These things just get really tight on there. All right, that wasn't so bad. Now I'm just going to leave that one like that. Okay. And again, watch out, brake fluid will eat it up, eat that paint up. It's not going to fit that way, maybe this way. And although this is going to force me to put some downward pressure on this, it might give me a little better leverage, I'm hoping. Yes. Oh boy, that was a big victory right there, guys. Okay, so those are broke loose. I don't need to go any farther right now. Okay, next up I'm going to grab the air ratchet with a 15mm socket. Oh, okay, there we go. Now I'm not going to take this all the way off. Again, I'm just loosening these up because here in a moment we're going to get inside. Get on there. And I'm going to leave it about right there. I don't want to take it all the way off. And I just want to leave it on there enough where it's not going to fall off. Okay, that's basically it for the outside right now. Next up, what I'm going to do is get underneath the dash and try to give you guys a look at what we have to take loose. It's going to be difficult to see it, but one of the things I'm going to do before I take the inside loose is I'm going to prop up a board across here or something, a piece of metal or something that's strong enough to hold all of this up, because once I take those bolts loose inside, I don't want this thing to fall out. Alright, as you can see, I took a broom and that worked out perfect, and just tied that on so that when I take the bolts off the inside and push this thing forward, it doesn't just fall down and maybe hurt some of this stuff. One other thing I forgot, you got to take this guy out here. Should just pull right out. Might have a little vacuum on it, I don't know. Yep, just a little bit. Well, I'm sure there's going to be some glare on this part of the video, and I apologize for that, but it's the best I can do as far as getting you some lighting up in here. Okay, so we go up under the dash. There's the brake pedal. Follow that brake pedal up, and hopefully you can see there behind those wires. Let's see if I can point to it. This rod that goes through right here. See that rod? That is the power brake booster rod that goes and connects to your brake pedal. So there's a little clip up inside of there on the, I believe it's on the outside. It's been a while since I've done one on this, but I'm pretty sure it's on the outside, and I can't remember if the brake pedal switch is going to be involved in this or not. But basically what we have to do is get these bolts back here behind this foam thing. Just pull that down and you'll see 4 bolts on studs, or 4 nuts on studs there. So we've got to get up in there, and I'm going to try to use the air ratchet if possible, because there's not very much room to move a regular ratchet around, and it'll take you a long time. So we're going to get set up on that. I doubt I'll be able to film that and show you how I'm doing that, but essentially what we have to do is get that all loose, and then before we unhook our rope or anything out front, we're going to push this forward, push the pedal forward. And by pushing that pedal forward, it's going to buy us a little more room to get that clip out of there. If we don't have to push the pedal forward, then maybe I won't, but it seemed like I had to manipulate it a little bit last time to get it out of there. So I'm sure there will be some choice words said during this little exchange we're fixing to go through here. But meanwhile, guys, stay tuned. I'll get that broke loose and come back and show you the results and talk to you a little bit more about that clip. How do we get that out of there? So basically you just have to get in here and get small and get ready to sweat a lot. And let's see, can I get it on there? Yes. No? Yes. Got that one out. All right, that one fell right out. So I've got 2 more to get loose, guys. I don't want to bore you here, but you get the idea. The 2 harder ones are the ones I have to go after now. So I'm going to get the swivel extension and see if I can get that out. We'll be right back. Okay, we finally got that bottom right bolt out, the one that's directly behind the column. And let me warn you, that's going to be a chore to get out of there. So just be prepared for that. It was hard to get to because there's like a, I don't know if that's a neutral safety switch back here or what that is, but it was right in the way. Bad job, GM. You could have moved that bolt over a little bit or something, made a wider bolt pattern, and then you could have got a, you know, there's a place right there where you could have got a straight shot at it, but instead they staggered it behind this column. So the left side, and actually that right top one wasn't bad. I was able to get all those with the air ratchet, but that bottom one, man, it fought me all the way. So, and be careful around your neutral safety switch there. Mine was kind of like coming, it was turning as I was undoing it. So I kept having to push it back together. So hopefully I didn't screw that up. We'll find out in a little bit. What I did notice though was my brake lights came on, and it's because right up here is your brake light switch. And after I pulled those bolts out, it moved forward a little. So we're gonna need to access this clip on the outside here. And hopefully you're seeing that. I can't see it in the camera. So there's a clip here on the outside, and the best way to access that, or that I've found, is right up through this side over here where you can actually see it, because where it is right now you can't see it. So what we're going to do, since we have the rope tied on to our power brake booster, is we're going to try to push this on through, and it may drop a little, but all we need to do is get that up ahead enough. I'm just pushing the brake pedal. I don't know if you could see that or not, but I was just pushing the brake pedal forward, and basically the bolts are still just barely in there, but that should give me enough room now to get up here on the other side and release that clip. Right up there, you see that clip? I'm going to try to go after it one-handed. Of course, there's going to be a fly buzzing on my face while I try to do it. So I think what you do, if I remember right, is you kind of pry out on this, get in between it. Well, it's probably going to take both of my hands and a couple of screwdrivers to get it off of there. That's what it seems like. There's like an inner clip you have to release, and then once you do that, it just pops right off, almost falls off. Oh, I moved it a little that time. And of course we don't want to break anything. And if you're going to leave this for a long period of time, you know, we wouldn't want our brake lights to run our battery down, so we'd want to disconnect the battery. Okay. How do you work? I can't remember. And of course I can't see it worth a darn. Oh, it just popped off as soon as I lost you guys out of the frame there. It just popped off. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, we got to get up there and get that foam out of the way. I'll just pop that out, and then this guy slides out of the way. See that? We're just going to slide him right off of there. Okay. Now, to get the brake light to go off, we're going to have to prop the pedal up like this, or get a bungee cord or something to where it's not activating that switch. But now we are completely disconnected, so we can go back out on the engine compartment side. And, oh God, I was kind of stuck in that position there. Oh man. Okay. Go ahead and get our light out of here. That actually didn't go too bad. Okay, here's our clip too, by the way. Let me see if we can get our GoPro screen back on. I mean, come on, man. I know I've got an older GoPro here, but why does the daggum thing have to go off all the time? Okay, so this is what we're looking at here. Let me get you top side, you can see a little better. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but somehow or another that guy slides on there and locks in, and it goes back on pretty easy. You just got to get it, hold it in the right orientation, and then shove it on, and you'll feel it clip in. So, all right, let's go up here. Oh man, I'm sweating heavy. And just to make it fast, I'm not even going to look for those little plugs I was talking about. I'm just going to do it. Now that we're broken loose, I bet you I can get away with using this 9/16. Yep. So we're just going to take these off completely. Yeah, I'm breathing a little heavy, but it's like 900% humidity today, so you might see some of my sweat dripping by here as we're filming, not just brake fluid. Okay, so I'll get that into position, and that's not going to fit. It's at 15. So go ahead and get this loosened off here, both sides. And we're trying not to let this fall out just yet. I want him to kind of stay right there until we get this guy out of the way. Okay, here it goes. Okay, take that out. One more on the other side. Okay, the master cylinder is now loose. Now, if you'll notice, the master cylinder is what I'm tied to. So, I'm going to have to pull this guy out without pulling that out of the firewall, preferably. There we go. Okay, just set that down. That's fine. Now, get that out of the way. Okay, there we go. Now quickly get this out of the way so that you don't spill brake fluid everywhere. Okay, we got that guy set aside. Now we just got to wiggle this out of here. We can move our broom now. We don't need that. Okay, so now we're ready to pull this straight out. And you have to kind of get around this whole deal here. And drop your light. And there we have it. There's your power brake booster. Alright guys, that wasn't too bad. Going back in is just the opposite of that. I'm going to have to run over to the parts store and exchange mine because, as I said earlier, this one was under warranty. So luckily for me, I don't have to pay for another one, but I do have to install it again. So that's kind of a drag, but as you see, it wasn't too bad. And we will get the new part and come right back, and you guys can watch if you need to watch that. If not, I appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next time.